Hello YouTube, it's Alk here with Yu-Gi Underground, coming at you with a video because I promised you one once a week. Remember that? If you're getting this message, it means I found a way to get videos past the bad Wi-Fi in the dorm halls. So, without further ado, for today's deck, we are going to be showing off something extremely budget. So budget that mainstream players haven't even heard of it. So budget. The entire deck will literally cost you the sum of a nickel. And the deck we're going to be talking about today is Hazy Flames. That's right. Bringing it back. I was going to talk about budget decks in this format are decks that tribute and decks that are level 6. Because rank 7s are expensive and rank 4s are expensive and 5s kind of don't exist. So 6 is the way to go. I was going to do Monarchs, but decided to first roll it back with something a little bit my flavor. So if you guys have been keeping up, I've been playing this deck on the channel for quite some time, or have builds of it lying around. And today we're going to go pure Hazy Flames. So to explain Hazy Flames to you all, once upon a time, there's an entire archetype of Leo Keeper of the Trees, except your opponent couldn't even target them during the main phase 2. And that's what this deck is. So 3 Cerberus. He's the Sangan who can't be targeted. You can also normal summon him without a tribute, but his attack goes to 1,000, but it doesn't matter because he's just going to search cards. 1 Flamvell Fire Dog. Would play 2, but the second I played 2, I would have to start playing rank 4s in the deck, and rank 4s are expensive, so 1. And for the rest of the Hazy Flames, we have our new guy. 2, 3 Hazy Flame Hydra. Now what Hazy Flame Hydra does, because I know none of you read him, when you opened your packs of Prio and saw him, is that he's a 2300 beater who cannot be targeted by your opponent. When he's on the field, you can only special summon fire-type monsters. But, as an added benefit, when you exceed him into a monster, he has a second effect that triggers, which allows you to target 1 Hazy Flame in your graveyard, and then add it to that monster as exceed material. So we will talk about the combos with that. I should probably just make a tutorial video after this. But, yeah, that's the idea. Now, this time we bumped it up to 3 Hazy Flame Paratons because we have additional ways to get it on board. And it's a very good card to get on board because you can summon it, pitch a fire from your hand, so it gets rid of your dead monsters in hand, to tribute it, and special summon 2 Hazy Flames straight from the deck. Now we have Hazy Flame Sphinx. You call the top card of your deck, monster, spell, or trap. And if you call it right, you can special summon a Hazy Flame from your hand or graveyard. And if you call it wrong, then you get nothing. I don't know why this was never made into a formal, like, Wolf Bark, where you just automatically get 1 per turn. But, 1900 beater, it can't be targeted. You win or lose games off of whether or not you can guess the top card of your deck. And that's really sad. Okay, moving on to Battle Fader. It provides tribute material for all of the level 6s we just presented, as well as stopping you from dying, which is kind of hard to do in this deck because of this card, you can't play traps. Or else you mess with ratios to getting this card's effect off. And you have to get this card's effect off a lot of the times if you want to be in a positive place in regards to card advantage. So now, those are all the monsters. Now for the spells. 2 Hazy Pillar. I want to cut it to 1, but the second it gets MST, you have a bunch of dead cards in your hand. So you have to play 2. Can't play the trap card, which would be better because you can trade the trap card for a monster because 1, it's a trap card, and 2, it's super slow. If you are trying to get combos off, you don't have time to set the trap card and flip it up, so you have to play this one. On the bright side, this lets you give your Exceed monsters Hazy Flames as extra materials, which sometimes is cool, but only sometimes. So, because these are all fire monsters, we're going to be playing a suite of Fire King favorites. 3 Onslaughts, because we're no longer playing Fire Kings to support the deck and we're running all of the Hazys on their own. This card's function is to special summon Hazy Flame Cerberus, which it will then kill, which will then Sangan, which will then set you up to make plays. Also good just because, special summoning's cool. And then this, you can actually target your own Hazys, which means that if anything were to happen, it's an additional 3 copies of Lance, as well as making him float about because you can bring him out and then kill him and then search with him because it happens simultaneously. This guy doesn't miss timing, which is really neat. Now for generic spells. 2 MST, 1 Dark Hole, 1 Book of Moon, 3 Forbidden Lands, and that pretty much rounds it out. There's the spells that can best be offense for clearing background, getting your plays off, because this deck has a fun win condition. For consistency, 2 Pod Duality, 3 Upstart Goblin. Upstart Goblin is kind of bad in most decks now, but when you mill it, it's a spell, which is kind of helpful because it helps your ratio. And yeah, we get to spend a bunch of this video talking about ratios for what might be a Wolfbark effect. Now, this is a really good card, and this is a really good card against a lot of matchups. Monarch Stormforth. People are talking about this. It wasn't worth running Soul Exchange in this deck when Soul Exchange was out, but because you still get your battle phase, Monarch Stormforth is just an amazing card. You tribute their card for Periton, and then you can still go Periton's effect off. And now people are saying, but Alec, when you activate this card, you can't special summon monsters from the extra deck. Well, that doesn't really matter, because the fact of the matter is that 2,000 and 2,300 beaters that can't be targeted are actually better than most monsters in your extra deck, and are really hard for your opponent to get rid of. So this card's just very, very good removal within this deck. And rounding us out, we have 1 Skill Charge, because it lets you revive a bunch of level 6s from the graveyard and go ham, and 1 Rekindling. It has a similar effect. I kind of wish, if Rekindling was at 2, you would play Rekindling at 2, but instead we're just supplementing it with a Soul Charge. Now for the extra deck. The most important card of the extra deck is 3 Hazy Flame Basilisk. We were playing it at 2, but because Hazy Flame Hydra demands we go into Fire type, we have to have 3. It's basically Chaos Sorcerer, but because Hazy Flame Hydras have the ability to strap extra materials to it, you can turn a 2-material Hazy Flame Basilisk into a 4-material one instantly, and then just use the pillar to put the 5th material under it, and then you have a 3,500 beater who can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects, which, I don't know, for those of you who don't notice this, 3,500 that can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects is actually a win condition against, yeah, everything. Wait, let me think. Yeah, everything. So, that's the whole point of this deck. Just summon him, get 5 materials under him, you win against everything. And grind against back row along the way. It's really best if you can get 3 and do it overlay 2 Hydras and another Hazy Flame all at once to make this happen, because... yeah, actually I guess it doesn't really matter. Regardless, the other 2 fire monsters that we have to play because they're fire are Evil Source Zoldas. So, I don't know why. When this deck came out, the whole point was they were all Beast and Wing Beast, and you were supposed to play the March of the Animals, but Hydra is a dinosaur for some reason. So you get 2 Hydras, you overlay them into a Solda, and then that Solda gets 2 extra materials, because once you're already overlaid into it, it doesn't matter that the monsters you're applying to it aren't dinosaurs. So you get 2,600 Soldas that can't be destroyed by card effects and can negate special summons for all of eternity. It's kind of neat. Oh, shoot, dropped the main deck. No, I dropped the main deck. Okay, utility rank 6s. Oh, never mind. I'm not doing this in the right order. Gauntlet Launcher, Insector Exobeetle, Photon Strike Bouncer, Consoler M7, number 25, and Fairy Knight, your Iguana. Yeah, these all serve their own unique purposes. You go into this a lot because you can nuke boards. This is good spot removal because it doesn't destroy, it sends. This is good because it negates effects. This is good for the same reason. This lets you turn your play into another play by overlaying 2 level 6s into him and then adding like a Sphinx or something, or a Hippogriff, or not Hippogriff, Hippogriff's a bad one. The Rescue Rabbit one. Why can't I remember these names? Periton, back to your hand, which is really cool, and I've never used this once, but there's not very many rank 6s in this game, and you don't really make them that often in this deck because the power of beat sticks that can't be targeted is stronger. So, kind of have a lot of room to work with. And because we're playing nothing but rank 6s, we can play 2 Gaia Dragon Thunder Chargers, because this way Fiendish Chain will never affect us ever. Now, for the last 2 slots in the extra deck, I'm just playing kind of utility pieces. Black Rose Dragon, because I don't have a side deck built, but my side deck on DN contains an effect failures, so you can sync these with effect failures to blow up fields. It's a fire monster. Not really relevant. Oh, yeah, because then you can Hydra Black Rose. That works. And one number 16 Volcasaurus, because people are citing Stygian Dirge, which means that they all go to level 5, so if people don't know what's going on and you convince them this is an Exceed-centric deck game 1, and they do side those Stygian Dirges in, then they make them all level 5, but then you have something to go into with Hazy Flame Hydra on board. It's a Volcasaurus. OTK in a bottle, if they play Stygian Dirge. Which would be cool if they did, because that would be like a minus, and then it would be really easy to get the OTK through. So, that's the deck, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Sorry for not posting as often as I should. Love you, rate, comment, subscribe, and